The spiritual journey is a fascinating one. Something that I've been playing around with this week has been this idea of communicating with future versions of yourself. These are basically versions of you that have done all the things to become a millionaire, become a billionaire, to become super successful, to be the pro athlete, to um, become partner in your organization. All these different versions of yourself that you get to play with and you can tune into and tap into those. But it really comes down to this ability to calm the nervous system. Again, when we are in the sympathetic nervous system, we lose access to all these different versions of ourself. We lose access to the guides, to our ancestors. We lose connection to all this deep wisdom that is held possibly within our DNA because our reticular activating system edits out all of these different experiences and it's only focused on what is going to keep us alive in the next 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 months. And that's all that it is focusing on. That's all that is bringing attention to. So I think the first step, and as you go through this spiritual experience, as you go through this ability to tune into different aspects of yourself, you'll really want to focus and spend a lot of time on calming down your nervous system, getting into the parasympathetic state, using meditation, using walking in nature, using grounding, using all these different ways to make sure that your nervous system and your energetic body, whether you call that your chakra system or your meridian system, whatever you want to call it, but that your body is functioning properly energetically. I think a lot of science is going into this idea of getting 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight. It doesn't have to be right at at noon where it's beating down on you, but sometime in the morning, sometime in the evening. I really enjoy getting into being able to watch, the sunset go down and being able to actually look into the sun. I know, be careful, but the last 15 minutes or so as that sun's setting and all that sunlight is traveling through an incredibly thick layer of the atmosphere, you are able to kind of take a look into the sun and allow it, maybe start with 5 or 6 seconds and then a minute. And then eventually you can do 10 or 15 minutes because your body, the diodes in the back of your eye are designed to. They're meant to. It energizes, it refocuses, it brings everything back into balance when you do get to do that. Again, not suggesting that you should, but you should be getting some sunlight at least 10-15 minutes a day. And again, what that does, it empowers, it recharges the mitochondria in each one of your cells. And it really doesn't matter, you can get it through red light therapy. That's very helpful. But the true, you want as broad spectrum light as possible to really kind of bring this energy system back into balance, back into homeostasis. And once that gets back into balance, once your mind stops wandering over and over and over again, and you're able to calm the mind, again, that's probably mostly through meditation or some kind of artistic endeavor where you can just turn the mind off for 20, 30, 40 minutes. You're only focused on maybe your um, motor skills, whatever that does. And then eventually that information starts to flow to you. You start to have these ideas, these little blips of wisdom. And again, from my perspective, what I think is happening is that you're tuning into these different versions of yourself. And this really plays into the idea of what we call the multiverse, or kind of the non-linearity of time, that everything essentially exists all at the same moment and you're tuning into a frequency of that version of yourself, and it's less of a active and more of a passive, like the frequency that you are existing in, that your nervous system and your energy bodies are existing in, are portraying this version of you that is at that level. So again, as you calm the nervous system, you're able to hear, you're able to listen, you're able to connect with these versions of yourself, the billionaire, the pro athlete, the super successful business person. You can connect with those and you can have them guide you. Again, that guidance is not going to be them telling you, here's the steps that you're going to be. It's going to be an energetic experience. They're going to help you understand what energy, what frequency you need to be in to come into their existence, to resonate at the frequency that they're resonating at. So it has so little to do with what advertising company or what coach you have or what team you're on or anything to do with that. It has everything to do with what frequency you are vibrating at. Are you vibrating with the frequency of that pro athlete that is experiencing life from there? And it's kind of difficult at first to wrap your head around this idea, and I struggle with it even myself. This idea that there's a version of me that's a millionaire, that's super successful, that has retreats all over the world, that is leading hundreds or thousands of people through experiences, um, that exists. But every morning I take some time to connect with that version of myself, and I say, okay, what would that version of myself do? And sometimes I forget to make that connection. And again, I give myself grace. I say, okay, I forgot today, but tomorrow we're getting back into it. What would that person do? What would that version of me do? So the more that you have this functioning energy system, the more that your energy is in alignment, the more you're able to tap into these different versions of yourself. And then you have to use discernment. You have to be able to discern, is this a version of me that I desire? Is this a version of me that is helping? Is this a version of me that's just a distraction? Or is this something that is outside of myself? Because that's a lot of what is happening, especially as humans become more aware of their ability to create reality around us. That attracts this the more energy that we have to create, the more we're going to attract beings that want to be in that creation energy, whether or not they are creating on a conscious level or an unconscious level, or they're just playing out. They're just a part of the universe, this part of balance that is always happening, this balance between positivity and negativity, or creation and destruction. Again, you have to be able to discern that on your journey. If you're not able to discern that, you're just going to be kind of drawn by whatever energy, whatever thing, whatever connection is available to you. And I've been hearing from a number of people, a number of practitioners, that as people become, or offload their spiritual development towards AI, that there is this possibility that these entities are also creating within AI and are able to latch on to people who are not doing so in a conscious way, just as they're able to do so through non-physical connections to humans. These beings that exist outside of our current reality are able to kind of latch on, and you can have these beings that are connected to your energy because you have this high level of creation energy. um, they can become entwined into you just as much as they can through AI. So again, having this discernment, being able to discern what is mine and what is not, even in the journey into AI, is going to be key, especially if you are offloading your spiritual or self-development journey to AI. There is this possibility that something that does not have the best interest for you particularly could come in and have some influence on it. So these are just some of the thoughts that are going through. But again, I think the focus for me is to help people get their energy system, get their mindset, get their mentality into a place where they can have this total focus on whatever it is that is calling them. And again, not just anything that's calling them, but the highest version of themselves that they can imagine at this point. What is that? And how is that calling you to take steps, to take action, to create, to build? And again, the focus is not necessarily on what to do. Again, this voice, this future version of yourself is not going to say, "Oh, well, you need to go hire this company and go to this conference and put out this package, and that's how you're going to get there." It's just going to be the energy. So you embody that energy, and then the ideas, the opportunities, they just start to flow to you. And I experience this. It's so wild. I experience this where I'll sit in meditation for 20, 30 minutes and really just imagine, embody this version of myself that I want to become. And then somebody calls, I get a text message, somebody sends me a DM that they're looking for somebody to do that particular thing, or that there's an opportunity to work with somebody in creating a um, new workshop or a new offering or something like that. So these things are around us all the time. I'm playing with it right now. I had this vision, I had this idea. I want to create a workshop. I want to have 2 or 3 practitioners that are creating it with me, and I just kind of put it out there, and then connected with one, connected with another. Had somebody reach out to me and said, "Hey, here's what I'm looking to do. I want to create with other creators, with other workshop leaders. I want to be in that creation space with others." And we've put together this opportunity. It's kind of basically it's the skills that are required when you're changing your consciousness, or when you're changing your energy, or when you're trying to go, or when you are going through changes and you have to um, level up your abilities. You have to be a different version of yourself to remain or stay in that energy. So keep an eye out for that. I'm looking forward to sharing that at a couple local Delaware and Maryland centers. And yeah, this is just, it's an exploration. It's a fun journey. I'm using this as a almost like a journal for myself, so that I can see, oh, shoot, look where I was in 2025 at the end of August. So I would love to hear from you. Connect. If you're looking for guidance, if you're like, man, I feel very disconnected right now. I don't feel connected to my higher self, to my calling, to who I really need to be or could be, reach out to me. I've got some awesome one-on-one packages that are available right now, um, that I'm offering, that can really get you. Again, we can tailor it to exactly what you're looking for. If it's once a month, we sit down, we have an hour and a half, we do a meditation, we connect with that part of ourselves, and then we build the practices to continue to connect with that aspect of ourself every single day. That's awesome. We'll get that going. If it's more of a, kind of just connecting once a week and sharing what's going on, and how can we truly focus on what we need to be focusing on, we can work on that as well. So the one-on-one coaching is very fluid. It's very, I've got 5, 10, 15 different testimonials of what it's like to work with me. So would love to just have a talk. We can have, I do free discovery calls. They're on my website, joegarner.net, where you get to just explore. We have basically a free coaching session. And if you enjoy it, if you like what it is, then we sign up. We do a 1 month where it's, yeah, whatever level you want to kind of get into. So looking forward to offering those. Keep an eye out. As soon as I firm up some of these dates, I'll have those for the workshops that'll be in like the Southern Delaware, Eastern Shore, Maryland area. And again, if you have any questions on what I'm talking about, how to get into the parasympathetic state, how to properly energize your body so that your cells are all working in unison, in harmony with each other, and they're not fighting for energy between each other, that your body doesn't have to make this decision to, am I going to have enough energy for this part of the body or that part of the body? No, it has enough energy for all of that. And again, it's just getting into the sun, doing a little bit of reconnection to the earth, getting your feet to touch the ground. These are all so simple. They're completely free. And in theory, again, we're working towards this, but in theory, they're going to create a harmony inside of your body that will get rid of any dis-ease, any improper functioning of the energetic system inside of your body. Again, whether you call that chakra system, the meridian system, your nervous system, whatever you want to delineate that through. You want that working properly. And to better understand it, you have to listen. You got to be able to hear it. You got to be able to hear what it is sharing with you or where that blockage is coming from. And if you want guidance, you want help with that, just let me know. I'm here to help and guide you. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. Thanks for joining me today. Leave a message, leave a comment. Would love to hear from you. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Labor Day weekend.